Hey guys, and welcome to my post-patch Diablo video. We're going to talk about some of the changes that happened and how they're good for Diablo and how they're maybe a little bad for Diablo. So first things first, the major change that everyone's talking about that is really significant is his Q. Instead of knocking a target back and not traveling with them and getting a temporary speed increase that you could use either engage or disengage, you now constantly travel with them, staying right alongside them. Also, instead of being a half second of stun, unless you knock them into terrain where it's still a full second of stun, you give them a half second of daze. And I think the first thing people really need to know about daze versus stun is that when daze was first introduced into the game, it was for stuff like Emerald Wind, Chen's Barrel. They didn't want it to be a hard stun because that was too strong, but they didn't want it to, be meaningless that you were getting knocked around. So the difference between a stun and a daze is that dazes do not cancel non-stationary channels. So they don't cancel, Jug of 1,000 Cups on Lily, they don't cancel Strafe on Vala. In every other way, they are identical to stuns. So for the majority of cases, Shadow Charge didn't change its CC amount at all, which is pretty strong, right? So there were 5 ways that you could use Shadow Charge before this change. The primary guy was the one that everyone I think knows about and talks about a lot is the QE combo. You would go in with Q and go in, overpower. Why is that so strong? Why is that sort of Diablo's signature thing? It's because it makes it really easy to gank targets. Not only do you have a really nice engage that's not a skill shot, but when you overpower, you put them right behind you. And that means you can immediately start body blocking. You can see I was just on Arthas there for a little bit. And any sort of ground-based effects, like Tron's Lunar Flare, Jaina's Blizzard, Kel'Thas's Flame Strike, because you know exactly where the enemy is going to be in like a half second, you can put those down and they're guaranteed to land if Diablo just does this combo. Q and E. Right? Really, really, really nice. The second way of using the combo that was really high impact was if someone was silly enough to walk right up to you, especially if they were at like a gate or something, you could E and then Q. And that sort of kind of like a Stitches hook forces a 1v5 all of a sudden because you're in their team. For these two purposes, the Q is buffed because when you go in with the Q, sometimes the knockback distance would be inconsistent. And you wouldn't always be able to get the combo off. It's a bug that happened frequently enough that Diablo stopped seeing consistent pro play. We saw him inconsistently on some maps for some teams, especially in the Asian meta. But he pretty much dropped off completely in EU and NA, and it was entirely because of the inconsistency. Sometimes he would just knock heroes too far back to consistently get the QE combo off. Right, so those are the two uses. Those are the two sort of offensive uses. For both of those, they're better because the QE combo for engaging is now more reliable. The EQ combo is now safer because since you travel with your target, not only do you get the target in the middle of your team, but you're now in the middle of your team as well, which is a lot safer. Because you don't have to walk up to your target anymore, because you continue to travel with them, you can actually change the way you do the QE combo as well. You can actually do, and wait for ours, where you can actually do QWE. And that gets the fire stomp damage off earlier, which matters because of talents like Fire Devil that do damage, give you a damage aura, and Storm. It comes back faster. So for the two offensive uses of his combo, it's a buff. It's a pretty consistent buff. Now we're going to talk about the non-offensive uses. Running away is better. If you ever queued to a minion or queued to a wall, because you travel with, say I'm out of position here, I'm in the tower, it's like, oh my god, I'm getting ganked, and I queue to this minion, and then I just walk off. Because I traveled with the minion, I'm actually in better shape than I would have been before, even though before you got a little bit of a speed boost every time you had a queue. Right? So, running away, assuming you have a target to, queue to, actually a little bit of an improvement. Peeling for your team. This is kind of the same, but more dangerous for you. Let's say this, Arthas is going on my Malfurion here. I'm trying to protect my Malfurion, and I'm just like, no, get away. in that, Arthas got pushed back just as far, right? So in that sense, it's exactly the same, but I'm in a lot more danger because I traveled with him. If his whole team was like right here and I was like, get off my friend, and I pushed him away, suddenly I'm in a lot of trouble, whereas before I would have stopped and had a minor speed boost to start retreating. So peeling for your allies, their safety is the same, your safety has changed. It's possible that you're going to be in more danger. And then the last possible use of this is peeling for yourself. It used to be that if you were Diablo, you could like knock back and start running away with the speed boost, and I would have stopped right here instead of right here. Huge difference. That's a huge difference. So in that case, it's worse. So in two cases, it's arguably significantly stronger. In one case, it puts you in more danger. In one case, it's just flatly stronger, and in one case, it's like you removed Diablo's ability to safely peel for his team and for himself, which is pretty big nerf. If you're thinking of Diablo as a tank instead of sort of a slasher bruiser or a hard engager. So as a bruiser, he's been hugely buffed. As a tank, he's been nerfed. So it's just a question of how you were using Diablo before. But there are some other significant changes that I think are worth mentioning. One is that Overwhelming Force used to be a trap talent. And the reason Overwhelming Force used to be a trap talent is because that thing we were talking about where sometimes there was a bug where the knockback was too far and you couldn't reliably use the combo, that knockback became 100% unreliable, right? It used to be that Overwhelming Force would knock him so far back you could never do the QE combo if the opponent just decided to literally walk away from you. That's all they had to do. They had to walk away and you couldn't get it off. But now, you can see the increased range is pretty significant. You can engage from pretty far away. And since you travel with them, this combo is now 100% reliable even with Overwhelming Force. So the increased knockback range potentially leads you into a lot of danger, but it gives you that increased engage, and it doesn't ruin the combo. And it also, as mentioned, there's an EQ combo as well. The EQ combo gets significantly stronger because you're pushing them even further away from their team, you're pushing them even further away from safety. So a talent that was strictly trap, you should literally have never taken Overwhelming Force prior to this patch, now has some viability and might even be the best talent at level 1. It's kind of hard to say. We're gonna have to play around with it more to be 100% certain. But then you pick up stuff like Fire Devil, and we're gonna show you guys. Now, Diabolical Momentum is also a change that happened to Diablo's talent tree. Not having his ult up as often is pretty bad for him, but having his combo up more often is pretty good. Especially a lot of his W talents, especially 13 and 16, are very strong, so having his W up more often is a huge buff for him. Might be that this becomes the standard talent, even though it doesn't apply to ults anymore. But it also makes Soul Steal a little bit more viable for that health buff. I've never been a huge fan of Soul Steal because just having more health is not... It's like a one-time deal. Once the health is gone, your healer starts healing you up. You don't really become tankier. From the Shadows has never been a great talent. Devastating Charge can actually be quite strong, though. If you're against a heavy CC team and you go in, chances are is that normally you just die. This actually makes you very survivable. But we're going to pick up Diabolical Momentum. One thing I want to note about Overwhelming Force is that it doesn't necessarily let you do the RQE combo. For those of you guys who don't know, you can usually do RQE with Diablo and always 100% guarantee that your APOC will land on the combo target. With Overwhelming Force, that is no longer true. It doesn't 100% guarantee that it will land. Without it, you still 100% guarantee to land. And as you saw there, it can still land. It's not like it will never land. It's just that it doesn't necessarily have to land. If they have an escape, if they have some sort of teleport, blink, barrel roll, vault, whatever, they can get out of it just in time, but without level 1 talent. So you might not want to go Overwhelming Force if you're using Apocalypse as a solo engage, where you're just trying to get picks on your own, you're trying to make plays on your own. If you're having Apocalypse as some kind of wombo, like you're doing it off of VP or Maw or Mosh, or you're trying to use it for, or you're trying to go Lightning Breath, which, you know, we see Lightning Breath a lot in coordinated play, especially in EU, then it's not going to be a big deal. You can absolutely go Overwhelming Force and not have to worry about it. And we're going to pick up Firestorm, and we're going to pick up Rampage. And we're going to look at what this combo looks like once we have all these talents. So, as noted, we're going to go Q, W, E. And then we're going to start body blocking. He's trying to get away. And notice how the flames come back, and they actually hit him. I'll do that again. We can actually like body block him and get the flames to come back and actually do a significant amount of damage to Arthas while body blocking. You know, if our team had been there, like behind him and followed us in and focused him, he absolutely would have gone down. So, in some sense, knowing when to go in as Diablo is now harder. Going in is an all or nothing sort of thing. It's feast or famine. If you go in at the wrong time, you die. But if you go in at the right time and your team is backing you up, Diablo actually got a little bit stronger at his premier role as a gank tank. He's weaker at peeling, but he's stronger at initiating. He's stronger at ganking. He'll do more damage because you can now combo W or QWE. You can still do RQE. Like he lost very little but gained a lot. The thing that's gonna really make or break this change is that you're gonna have to learn to replay Diablo. The way you play Diablo is gonna have to change. You have to make sure you only go in when you can, 100% secure a kill, even if you're trading 1-for-1, because if you have souls, you can come back faster. If you're really doing that strategy, you should definitely go for Devil's Due. By the way, pro tip. And we're gonna see him come back into pro play on the back of this, I believe, 100%, because the reason that a lot of pro teams stated they stopped playing him in Asia, where he was very popular, was because the combo was unreliable, so he became sort of a niche pick. And with the combo being now 100% reliable, working every single time, and even potentially being able to do more damage because you have the W or the QWE, we're going to see him come back quite a bit. He has great wave clear at level 4, which is always, pretty crazy, especially on maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen or Shrines. So yeah, that's the post-patch Diablo video. I may be wrong. It is possible that I'm wrong, but I want everyone to sort of try playing Diablo a little differently and maybe see if he's not working better for you as a result of that. Play him as a bruiser, play him as an initiator, play him with another frontliner, play him to combo with your team and not to sort of make plays on your own. Play him with the QWE combo instead of just QEW, and see if he's not working out better for you. And I'll see you guys in the Nexus.